Now, I know that the World Series final game is on tonight. And I know the one thing to lose every single solitary vote would be to stand between you and the World Series, especially the press. Most of them are from Washington. They're waiting for a miracle to happen, which I think may happen. You notice the MSNBC guy's got his Washington hat on back there. I called him earlier today and I said, I'll give you an hour and a half interview, so I can't do it tonight. It's only joking. Look, folks, thank you. Let me thank the young Democrats. Madam President, I'm angry too. It's one of the reasons why I'm running. I'm sick and tired of what's happening right now. And the fact is that there's an awful lot that's going on. We're going to need young people like you to get involved in this process like never before. And it's going to be necessary to do that to beat Donald Trump. And I want to thank you all for being engaged. Folks, I also want to recognize my dear friend, the Assistant City Manager, Terry Goodman, and her husband, John, and her daughter, and so many friends that are here in Dubuque that I've known for a long, long time. It's been a long time, and I want to say a special thanks, Terry, for you always bringing me up to see the nuns up on the hill. By the way, they give me hope, they really do, not a joke. They were there when I lost my wife and daughter. They were there when my son lost they're just there. They're just there. There's an expression. That the philosopher Kierkegaard used. He said, faith sees best in the dark. And it's helped me, and we need a lot of faith right now as well, because things are, quite frankly, pretty dark. You all know in your bones that this election is different. It's more serious. It's more consequential. Our values, our standing in the world, our very democracy is at risk. And I don't believe that's hyperbole. We can overcome 4 years of Donald Trump with a whole lot of hard work and effort. But if Donald Trump is re-elected President of the United States, I think we'll forever and fundamentally alter the character of this country. I really believe our very democracy is at stake. We can't let that happen. We're not going to let this man, and I'm not going to let this man be re-elected President of the United States of America, period. When I announced my candidacy for the presidency in the late spring, I indicated that we are in a battle for the soul of this nation. I think that's even more true today. Donald Trump threatens everything we stand for. He fans the flames of hate groups, white supremacists at home. He embraces murderous thugs like Putin and Kim Jong-un in North Korea. He separates families at the border, keeps children in cages. He's threatening our very democracy by pursuing foreign nations to get engaged and involved in our elections. It's not hyperbole to say that this election is about saving the America that we know. We have to decide who we are, and maybe, more importantly, what we want to be, what we're going to do. Sometimes when I talk about this election, I talk about the soul of the nation. Some people say, hey, Joe, I know that's important, but what about my life? Well, my answer is very simple. This is as much about your life, restoring the soul of America, as anything else. When I talk about the soul of the nation, I'm also talking about being a country where no one lies awake at night worrying about whether they can afford health care. A country where an insurance company can say to a parent of a sick child, that's it, you've run out of time, you've lost your insurance. That country has a troubled soul. It's about peace of mind. I was there when President Obama passed the Affordable Care Act. I was one of those that at that time led to the transformation of the healthcare system into law as we know it. I know how hard it is. We did without a single Republican vote. But now it's time to finish the job. Not in 5 years, as my opponents talk about, not in 10 years, not in a new structure, but right now. When I talk about the soul of America, I'm talking about being a country where you can look at your kids in the eye and tell them you're going to be safe in school. The idea that a nation where active shooter drills take place for our kids in grade school, something's wrong with that soul. It's a troubled soul. We can't let that stand. I've taken on the NRA before and beaten them twice on background checks, eliminating assault weapons, and the number of bullets you can have in a magazine. We protect those of you who are duck hunters. You cannot have more than 3 shells in your shotgun. We protect our geese, not a joke, more than we do our children. Who needs a clip with 100 rounds? Who in God's name needs an assault rifle? We will beat the NRA again. Will protect our children. You know, when I talk about the soul of America, I'm talking about the responsibilities we have to children on this planet to deal with the existential threat of climate change. You heard the president of the Young Democrats talking about how dangerous it is. The fact of the matter is, it is the existential threat the world faces. That's why back in 1987, I introduced the first global warming bill, which was, if you can take realpolitics.com, you'll find they acknowledge it was a game changer. But we didn't get it done. That's why we worked so hard in the last administration, spending over $100 million to make sure we brought down the cost significantly of wind and solar, built the largest plants that are now competitive with coal, and people aren't going to build any more coal plants. Look what this guy's done. A country that ignores the threat to the very survival of this planet isn't just troubled, it is morally bankrupt. Morally bankrupt. To squeeze one digression, the first thing I will do as president is immediately rejoin the Paris Climate Accord, which I helped put together. And secondly, within the first 100 days, call the 173 nations that are part of that to the United States of America to up the ante as science has indicated we have to. Folks, we make up 15% of the problem. 15%. We do everything perfectly and get to net zero emissions in America. We are still going to be in trouble. We're still going to have a planet that is going to not be inhabitable in 50 to 70 years. That's not who we are. That's not who we are. And folks, we're going to meet this challenge. We'll meet this responsibility. Look, we will not be responsible for the death of this planet, and that is not exaggeration. That ultimately is what's at stake. You know, think about it. When you talk about the soul of the nation, I'm talking about the heart and soul of the nation, the great American middle class. Folks, I know how hard it can be for families to make it. Wall Street didn't build this country. Hard-working middle-class folks and working-class folks did. You know, I know the pain in a parent's voice when they walk up a short flight of stairs and tell their kids, honey, Daddy doesn't have a job anymore. We got to move. You're going to go home with Grandpa. You're going to live with him for a while. I'm only going to have to go 175 miles down to Delaware, and I'll be back every weekend. And I promise it'll be okay. In a year or so, it'll be all right. I can't imagine. I remember my dad's voice. I was only going into the 4th grade when we moved from Scranton, Pennsylvania. He couldn't find work. I'm determined to give the middle class a real shot in this country. You know, the heart and soul of America has always been the belief in America that anyone in this country can make it regardless of where they come from, regardless of their station in life, if they give it a chance. And you know, if we ever lose that, we will lose the soul of this nation. Think about it. I've spent more time in the Xi Jinping of China than any world leader had prior to leaving the White House. Traveled over 17,000 miles with him or to meet with him. We're in a town called Chengdu on the Tibetan Peninsula, on Plateau. And a town of 22 million people. I had an interpreter whispering in my ear, and he had one whispering just the four of us. And by the way, my interpreter took notes and handed them in. I'm dead nervous when I say this. He asked me, he said, "Can you define America for me?" I said, "Yes, I can, in one word. Possibilities. We're the only nation in the world who believe that anything is possible." Think about it. That's why we were known as the arrogant Americans. We thought we could do anything because we can. Look, folks, we got to make sure we restore the middle class. This time, bring everyone along. When I talk about the soul of the nation, I'm talking about values. The values America stands for on the world stage. We stand for freedom, democracy, human rights. And we stand with our allies. We don't stand up for dictators. And we keep our word. It matters. Folks, we will be less safe, and the world will be less safe if we don't once again lead again. If we abandon our allies. Folks, if we continue to embrace thugs and dictators, Trump doesn't understand America. I really mean this. I don't think he gets it. He has virtually no empathy. He has no idea what it's like to try to make a living. He inherited everything, including a good economy from us. And like everything else, he's squandering that. He doesn't understand. It's not the example of our power, but the power of our example that has set America apart for so long. You know, I believe with every fiber in my being that we'll defeat Donald Trump. And when we do, the next president is going to inherit a divided nation and a divided world, a world in disarray. It's going to require someone who can unify this nation and someone who can command the respect of world leaders from the moment he or she takes the world stage. And folks, there's going to be no time for on-the-job training. Not a joke. You know, we'll have to set aside our divisions and come together as Americans. This is the only way for real progress to happen. And it takes more than plans. You know, it takes someone with a proven ability to bring people together and to do the hard work of getting legislation passed. Folks, I have a lot of really good people who are running for the nomination with me. But they say, yeah, Joe did all that. He was able to get major things done. But those days are past. Can't do it anymore. Well, folks, if we don't do it, we're in deep trouble. We're in deep trouble. The only way this country can make it based on our system is by arriving at consensus. I've done it before, and I promise you, I will do it again. Look, more than anything, I believe in the promises of this nation. Just have to remember who we are. You know, there's two ways that nations get inspired and young people get inspired. By somebody like John Kennedy, who inspired my generation, who reaches in and lets you know it's possible. But there's another way. Another way is to be inspired by what you see as a threat, a danger, a serious threat to democracy. That's what's happening now. Donald Trump has been such a lousy, and I would argue, argue corrupt president, that the entire country, this is about more than whether or not a Democrat wins. It really is. You know, Woodrow Wilson once said, a party's worth no more than that for which it stands. We have to bring the country together. Independents, a lot of Republicans, and Democrats. Remind everybody, this is the United States of America. We have never, ever, ever, ever failed when we set out to do something. So I'm asking for you. I'm asking you to take a look. I'm asking for your help. I'm asking for you to join my campaign. Get involved, sign up as a volunteer. Be a precinct captain, knock on doors, phone banks, and commit to caucusing for me on February the 4th. Because look, folks, I promise you this. I got elected when I was 29 years old. I wasn't old enough to be sworn in as a United States Senator. You have to be 30. And wait 17 days to be eligible. I was always characterized as this young idealist, and I was optimistic. I promise you this. I promise you this, a student of history. I am more optimistic about America's possibilities and America's chances today than any time I've been in my career. And I'm not kidding. With Donald Trump out of the way, there's not a thing we can't do. Think about it. Think about it. We have the largest economy in the history of the world. We're the wealthiest nation in the world. We are a nation that, in fact, has more great research universities in the United States of America than all the rest of the world combined. And every life-changing thing that's occurred in the last 30 years has come out of one of those research universities, monetized by business, but in fact come out and you own them, we own them. Our workers are 3 times as productive as workers in Asia. We're in a situation where we can do, there's virtually nothing we can't imagine. Imagine if we were to spend the money that we do. For example, there's an outfit called DARPA, it's a defense organization, where they go in and they have applied sciences to determine what are the things that will make us safer. They're the ones that came up with the internet. They're the ones that came up with the technology for stealth technology, et cetera, et cetera. Imagine if we had an ARPA, meaning one that applied sciences for health. Imagine if we were to invest over the next 5 years, $10 billion a year in cures for cancer, or Alzheimer's, and or diabetes. Imagine what we can do. It's within our grasp, but what are we doing? We're providing for a $1.9 trillion tax cut that people that are getting the bulk of it don't need. And if you're wealthy, don't expect me to do anything except make you pay your fair share. Period. I don't want to run in the game here, but here's the deal. I really do believe that we have such an enormous opportunity. We don't need to have, I'm the guy that the president asked to bring home 150,000 combat troops from Iraq, and I did. But the idea that some are saying that we're going to pull out of the Middle East completely means we've got to become the world's policeman again. Who's going to take care of international terror without us, the coalition we put together over 60 nations, to be part of that? We don't need thousands of troops stationed everywhere, but we do need hundreds of troops, special forces, working with our allies, working with friends to organize against people, like we did with the Kurds. You know, 11,000 Kurds lost their lives defeating ISIS. 11,000 of them died. And we only had several hundred people standing between them and the borders. Fewer than 1,000 people. And they have over 10,000 terrorists in jail. But they had to leave to go protect their families because the president, on a whim, against the advice, as I understand it, the vast majority of his military commanders decided to pull them out. Now what's he doing? He's really being really smart. He's really he's a stable genius. Look, folks, think about it. Not not a joke. Think about this. Think about this. Who is going to take our word? What's happening now? And I'll end with this. In that part of the world, what's happening? Well, the Iranians have significant more influence in the entire region now. Significant more influence. In the Gulf, where guys like you who served in the Navy are still there now, how are they going to be handling it by themselves since we walked away from the deal that we had when they had the most intrusive inspection regime in history of the world, literally on the ground, making sure that the Iranians weren't getting a nuclear weapon. Now what are they doing? Now they're engaged in activities and no one else wants to come along with us. No one else wants to come along. We're the ones isolated from our allies. Think about what's happening. Remember what he said? Somebody said, well, all those folks may escape, those ISIS people. I'm paraphrasing. They'll only go to Europe. They won't come to America. That's a little bit like saying if ISIS was in Mexico and NATO did something, they said, don't worry about it. They're only going to the United States. They're not coming here. That really gives people faith, right? Folks, our word is our word. We have an obligation to keep our word. And that's one of the reasons why, go back where I began and end. That's why we better have a new president that knows how to deal internationally to bring the world together on climate change, because no one else is going to be able to do it. They have no faith in him. They have no faith. So folks, look. My colleagues in the Senate, and Tom Harkins were here, remember my saying this all the time on the Senate floor and others, and that I used to always quote John Kennedy's speech about going to the moon. And Kennedy said, he answered the unasked question, but it was on everybody's lips. He answered the question, why are we doing this now? And here's what he said. He said, because we refuse to postpone. I refuse to postpone one more day, taking this guy out of being President of the United States of America and reestablishing America's leadership of the world for our own safety's sake and for the rest of the world, because if we don't do it, mark my words, China and Russia will fill the vacuum, and all that we care about, including the environment, will go up in flames, literally and figuratively. So folks, help me out. Let's take back, remember, this is the United States of America. There's not a single thing beyond our capacity if we do it together. So let's pick our heads up. Remember, this is America. Let's take it all back now.